But they have, the Indian region, which has the Indian accent. They've got the my Lieben, all these apes have escaped.
Oh, the chubby German kid version.
Lore boys here. Welcome to the number one fake history podcast. My name's James Miller, and today, who's here today? Who else is here?
Today is Ethan.
And-
Fake history.
Yeah, and since the special occasion, Peter O'Donohue is also here.
Okay.
I've decided to show up for this one.
Hey, he does once in a blue moon. This guy.
Yeah, whenever I'm free.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So since every patron, except for Hondolo, was pushing against me doing Glover 2, we're going to be doing a Glover 2 episode today.
Oh, beautiful. I said it jokingly when we were recording the bonus content. I'm glad we were right.
No, it's a debate. We're
Oh, no way. Okay, fuck.
we're doing Ape Escape Lore. So.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Okay. Shout out to Saucy.
Yeah.
for Ape Escape
Saucy
request.
requested it like a million times.
Ape done did escape.
Saucy was being a bit too saucy a couple weeks ago, so I said I would never do it, just in spite of him. But he apologized.
Yeah. So this is all to say, if you guys grovel enough, we will do your lore request.
Yeah.
basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you annoy me, I'll do the opposite of what you tell me. So Glover 2 might be next week, so watch out, Jamie.
Amy's the bizarro lore boy, where he
Yeah.
always does the opposite of whatever anybody says. So.
Well, when Jamie's walking down like the cobblestone street in like Venice or whatever, and there's like peasants handing him flowers, if you throw yourself in front of him to like beg to heal your sick son who's at home, then he'll do it. That's the best way to get Jamie's attention. It's just like prostrate yourself at his feet.
Yeah.
Just remember, the little glass case on the back of the El Camino is for your protection, not his.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Pope is just like you're not in the I'm not in the Pope mobile with you. You're in the Pope mobile with me.
Yeah. Pope Rorschach. Pope Rorschach the third.
It dumps like boiling like blood of Christ into the guy's face.
So, do you guys have any experience with Ape Escape?
Yeah, it's monkeys getting out, dude.
Yep.
The image that is instantly conjured in my head is just a monkey in a plastic ball, which I know is monkey ball, so I have no
Super
concept of what we're talking about.
Think
No,
of
yeah, me too. I actually have like no idea what Ape Escape is.
Think of a monkey with a siren on his head instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
so
the light or the noise?
the light.
Okay.
Like one of those spinny lights. And they're usually wearing like pants, and I think different colored pants give them like different abilities. Like a yellow pants is a normal monkey, a dark blue pants is run real fast monkey.
Okay.
Stuff like
Neither of those I would have attributed. I would have said red is normal, or maybe blue is normal because it's like denim. I would have said red is fast. Yellow I would have said is like flight or double jump.
Okay.
For the yellow wax that Icarus bound his wings with.
Of course, yeah.
The monkey that flew too close to the children
His
who
pants
fell
melt
into his
off.
pet.
Never forget Harambe escape. Harambe escape, if only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
Um,
I'm looking at some of the art for this. Yeah, this looks old as fuck, but very wacky.
Oh yeah, it's like a bunch of like references in the game that I don't get anymore. It's like really slapstick comedy, monkeys running around, and it was the very first game that featured the DualShock controller, and you had to have the DualShock controller, so that's with the two analog sticks.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
a lot of our listeners who were born after 1998 will never even known that era, but we used to have PlayStation controllers without the two sticks on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's one of the worst controllers I've ever used in my life. Like, I have PS4 controllers now. I want a PS5 controller just for my PC so that both my PS4 controllers can be for the PS4. The PS1 controller that did not have the analog sticks is unusable. Like the D-pad is just a solid wad of plastic with like the four tiniest like what are the little rubber things that you have under a calculator button basically that just make contact with the board. Just trash. I always hated it.
It was a step up from like the NES or SNES controllers that were flat. Like all of a sudden now you had something to kind of grab onto at the bottom.
Grips were good, but I do agree with Pete that I think the D-pad on a SNES is better.
Yeah.
Like it feels more responsive than like it just and there's always something about PS1 era and PS2 era PlayStation controllers. They got stickier than other controllers, and I think it was like the rubber of the sticks would like melt with use, and it would like spread out over the whole controller. So they got like stickier than other controllers. I always found.
I wonder if that just corresponds to when our hands were the stickiest, like in our
yeah, maybe, yeah. But no, that's definitely true, and I know that 360 controllers, mine would always grind down and have like a ring carved into it. So the Xbox controllers were dusty, whereas PlayStation controllers were goopy.
My my PlayStation controller on, I forget which side, it's right next to me here, has that ring carved into it.
Carved into the stick,
from hundreds of hours of use,
The N64 gets a lot of grief as like the worst controller ever. Like, because it was so weird looking. It had, for anyone who doesn't know what an N64 controller looks like, it has three handles for a three-handed person, where there's basically one in the middle with a joystick, and then you have like all your buttons on the right-hand side, and then the left-hand handle is a D-pad. But I don't think it was bad. It just like it had that extraneous D-pad that nobody used, right?
Yeah, the C buttons, right, or whatever on.
No, it was a D-pad. The C buttons were on the right with the A. It was A B. Then you had the four directional Cs.
Yeah.
And you had the Z button, which was behind the joystick. So it's like, why would you ever put your hand on the D-pad? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I just checked my PS4 controller here that I have on top of my desktop tower, and it does have a groove carved into the left side, the movement stick. And I don't know if I got this one in 2018 or the older one, because I don't know which one of my PS4 controllers is which. But I had one before I had a PlayStation, and can confirm, still, it's got the it's got the whatever, like, you know, like when like there's like those two knee indents where like a monk prayed for 60 years or some shit. Yeah, that's my version of it. So I think I'm as dedicated as that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of janky the way that they set it up, because this is the first they changed their control scheme to revolve around the analog sticks. So it did work in the way that you would imagine, where one was for the camera and one was for movement. But the rest of the keys, they kind of they didn't quite have like the typical setup that we have now. Jump was R1 instead of like X.
Okay. That's the Pro Strat Halo 3 controls. That's bumper jumper. You use jump. You put jump onto the shoulder buttons, because then you can still aim whenever you jump. You don't have to take your thumb off the aim stick when you jump.
Yeah.
So you have jump and melee on the bumpers, so you never like lose that basically.
Right.
Yeah, instead of A and B, which is on the Xbox, right? Yeah.
And then all the like the four controls on the right side, the X, triangle, square, and circle, those were all corresponding to different gadgets, because you get different gadgets as you play through. You start off with only two, and you get a la Ratchet and Clank and like that kind of stuff. You get more fun things to play with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
That solve different problems too.
Mother Gunship, which is very good. I haven't played it in a bit. Reminds me a lot of Ratchet and Clank. That is a very like PS2 ass era game that just was released more recently.
I've been playing.
It's the exact same kind of humor.
Yeah. And as you build, like, it's a roguelike every time. You basically go onto a UFO, you have to clear a room, you get currency, you eventually get shops, and you buy different modules for your guns that have to make 3D sense in 3D space. So you have to get, like, enough connectors so you can equip another barrel onto it. And sometimes you get, like, these wacky guns with, like, 12 barrels that take up half your screen and stuff, and you just shoot rockets and flamethrowers and everything. Very fun.
You could absolutely make a gun that just blinds you every time you fire it.
Yeah. And, like, some of them, like, have knockback, too, so as soon as you start shooting, your back just flies to the nearest wall. Like, it's crazy. But Mother Gunship's fun. I got it really cheap, and it's a fun multiplayer game.
And so, like, Ape Escape is the Mother Gunship of its time, is what you're saying.
That's
Yeah, with the
different, I'd
different
say. It's less about killing, more about capturing. So it's like a lot of the games in that era, like Spyro or Crash, where you have to navigate through like 3D levels through platforming, or the use of gadgets specifically in this one.
What are the jiggies in this one? In that case,
They're just like triangles that it's like a Sonic ring if they just like put it into a mold and made it into a triangle. It's like hollow triangles.
Right.
oh, like the instrument basically. It's
Yeah.
just
They
like a folded rod.
Yeah.
Yeah. A circle with 3 corners.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying.
Oh yeah. I've seen those.
Your lives are T-shirts because every time you die, you crap your shirt. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I shit up into my shirt. I had a serious blowout, guys.
And your life is cookies.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like monkeys, not the first thing I would associate with them as far as
Wait, okay,
a
you're
snack
not-
would go.
I'm basing all my knowledge of Ape Escape off of the very few things Jamie's actually said about the gameplay, and then also the fact that I'm looking at a boy named Spike. I'm gonna guess you're a boy who has to capture monkeys who have
Yes.
escaped, apes, if you will, who have escaped.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I follow.
You don't
No
play
need
He
as-
played as an escaped monkey.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
yeah.
need to predict though, because I will get you on every level of this.
Okay. We will find out. We will find out why the apes hath escaped.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
There's
good,
a.
good.
Are they political prisoners?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen? Well, one second. Let me finish this. So yeah, the goal is to catch the monkeys. We'll learn why soon enough. Some of the monkeys you just need to chase down. Others you need to solve some type of puzzle. So let's say you get the X new gadget, the slingshot that lets you knock the beehive down onto the monkey's head that makes him run off the cliff or something, right? Okay. Like the.
Jesus Christ! Are you capturing them or are you killing them?
I made that up. That's not in the game. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a PS1 fucking puzzle.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You find the stick or whatever, which lets you poke at the porcupine who runs off and grabs his gun and just starts like mowing down monkeys, just mowing down apes in fucking droves.
The
dude.
monkeys do have guns and they're trying to kill you. So
What?
Oh
it's fair,
shit!
it's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
Some of
fucking
them.
right. Apes together strong, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sticks.
Have any of you seen
A bunch
Planet?
of t-shirts.
Yeah.
Have any of you seen Planet of the Apes? I haven't. I don't know what it's about, but
Which one?
I've seen the one from the 60s and all 3 of the newest ones. I've seen the first old one and then the 3 newest ones.
Like
yeah.
Mark Wahlberg being.
Are the
is Mark
plots
Wahlberg in
wildly
there?
are the plots wildly different, or are they
No,
telling
they're,
the same story?
they're always the same. So the original story was like a space traveler ends up in a wormhole, ends up in the distant future, and monkeys have taken over the planet.
It's
So-
4 astronauts that end up in the like a million years in the future by accident.
Yeah, and then so I guess the Mark Wahlberg reboot, which I've seen, which came out around in like 2000 or something.
That one, that's true.
That's like a direct reboot or whatever. Like that's like the same premise.
Is that Rise of the Planet of the?
No, so the
No.
new ones, those ones, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's like it tells like the actual story of like how a million years in the future is Monkey Man, right?
Okay.
How we get there, and it tells the story of like genetically modifying monkeys.
All right. Well,
It's like a gas. It makes people stupid, but it makes apes together strong. So we just switch places and they take over the world.
Apes together with guns, strong.
there will
Yes.
be a lot of parallels to Planet of the Apes. Then.
Okay.
Okay.
And I've seen the
perfect.
first one with Charlton Heston. Fantastic.
Yeah. Cool. I can't wait until Mark Wahlberg shows up in my PS1 game.
Yeah.
No, Bruce Willis was an apocalypse. It's
Do it,
not
do
as not as crazy as you think.
doing steroids and committing hate crimes. What a guy.
Yeah, just blinding monkeys. Just punch them right in the eye.
Yeah. So there's gadgets. I'll just go over the gadgets quickly in Ape Escape, just so you kind of know what Spike, Spike, the character that you mean, is like a red-haired, spiky-haired kid that looks like an anime character. There is a manga and an anime for Ape Escape, both of which I didn't deem nice enough to look up or to get to know well, because I saw small clips from them and it looked pretty trash, I'll be honest.
I'm almost wondering if Saucy wanted the manga lore, you know?
It was the
He's a Mangalorean, I'd say.
The anime ran for I think like 25 episodes over 3 months and then never continued.
Okay.
And
Can you believe if you made a cartoon for Netflix that like was really well and they fucking canceled it after a single 10 episode season?
Yeah.
Can you imagine never having surpassed Ape Escape As far as
I think
number of episodes.
I think it's the number of episodes are high, but like the content is low. Like that was their one run over 3 months or
I mean,
whatever. Yeah,
they're marketing
15
to kids, and I've never worked on television or movie. Unlike some of the lore boys. But I would imagine that if you're trying to design a show for kids, it must be hard to know what will actually land because it's hard to put yourself in their shoes, right? It's like people always say like it's hard to write children's book. Like if you want to be an author, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, just write children's books." Like it's really easy, but a lot of people say it's really difficult because it's hard to make it relatable for them, right? And like it's hard to know what will click with them. So you make an Ape Escape manga or anime or whatever, you're just like, yeah, kids will love it. And some like Republican executive at whatever whoever 4Kids, whatever network they go to, Nickelodeon or whatever, is like, yeah, sure, 25 episodes, okay. We'll see if they like it.
Yeah. I
some
think
of my mistresses have kids. I'm sure they'll love it.
Yeah.
The game tells, as far as I can tell, the whole story that will be told in the anime and manga. It's a little bit more fleshed out, of course, but that the main arc we're gonna see ourselves. So
Okay.
yeah. So the gadgets you get are the water net. The water net is just replaces. What I should say first is you have 2 starting things: the stun club and the time net. So
okay,
stun club, you can hit them.
I can imagine what a stun club is.
Yeah,
it's like a regular heavy baton.
Yep. Yep. You yell "stop resisting" and you hit them in the back of the knees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Blind them.
You tear apart their Bristol board sign that they have like a really reasonable thing written on. Then you hit them with the baton, right? Yeah, I know how it works.
Yeah. And then the time net. So we'll get into where the time stuff comes in soon, but just try to for now.
Time net is where you throw it on a guy for having 3 grams of weed on him, and he spends 25 years of time in the net. Right?
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I imagined it as much more bizarre, where you like net an ape and you can see it like age backwards until it just like completely collapses into like a zygote.
becomes a little monkey sperm and a monkey egg.
Yeah, exactly. They
the
separate onto the pavement and just dry out.
Is that the end of 2001: Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
Yes,
pretty much.
But I have not seen that movie.
Okay. So then the first thing you get is the water net. That lets you swim and breathe underwater. The time net looks like a normal old butterfly net. Water net looks like one of those things that if you're in a pool, like it's in front of you and you can hold on to it, and it has like a motor, and it like brings you around.
Why do they call it a water net?
Because if you run into a monkey with it, you'll catch the monkey.
Okay.
Yeah. I was not imagining butterfly nets. I was imagining like a net launcher that with the weights on it.
I was picturing not a weight launcher, but like a weighted net. I think a weighted rope net is what I was picturing.
No, you'll be a kid running around basically with a butterfly net trying to catch monkeys with sirens on their heads who are scattered about a level. The water net is just the PS1 letting you be able to swim and travel underwater. The monkey radar is the next one that comes up. Pretty self-explanatory. It's this thing, and if you point it directionally with your analog stick, if you point towards a monkey, a little monkey head pops up above it, so you know, go that way for a monkey, because maybe it's cheap and it's hidden in a box in a corner in a room somewhere. So it's just like
tune it in with little dials.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you have to right after you get the monkey radar, you get the monkey cyanide pill, so that if you're ever captured by the monkeys, you have to first try and convince them that the reason you were able to find them is because eating carrots gave you such good eyesight. But if you're unable to convince them, then you have to take the cyanide pill, basically. Okay. It is game over, but...
Yeah. Okay, yep.
The cyanide net, like if they break the thing off the tip, and suck it out of the...
It kills you and you game over, but if you do it while bumping into a monkey, you also capture the monkey.
There's the slingback shooter, which is not something you order at a bar. It's just a slingshot.
That sounds like a mid-aught like woman-led hip hop group song.
Slingback shooter.
The slingback shooter, or like a pop country song also.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Slingback shooter, going to the slingback shooter bar.
Yeah. It's like most games on the PS1, not very easy to aim this thing. Even though you still have the dual analog, it's just a lot of moving really slowly to try and line it up.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean a big thing with old joysticks, right, was like they were still like 8 directional.
Yeah.
So like it was a joystick, but it had the same range of movement as a D-pad in actuality, where it was still just 8 directions that you're moving, whereas now it's like much closer to 360 degrees of movement, right?
And sometimes it's harder to be as accurate to which, if you're going diagonally, trying to hit the diagonal, it's like, no, it's going up or it's going left or it's like,
which I'm still really bad at.
Yeah.
That's why I don't play first person.
The next thing is the dash hoop that you get. It's a hula hoop. So he has to hula hoop, but it makes you run really, really fast. And I love the idea of someone running faster than anyone else, but also doing a hula hoop at the same time.
That'd be very impressive. Yeah.
You're giving him the shoop.
Yeah. There's the Sky Flyer. In Ape Escape 1, it looks like a kayak paddle. It's meant to be like a helicopter blade above you. But think of holding a kayak paddle and it spinning really fast.
It would have to rotate your entire wrist.
That's it. Pete's got it. Ethan's too busy looking it up, but Pete's got the problem.
I am too busy looking.
Yeah.
It is just straight up that paddle.
Yeah.
I mean, then you get the Ape Roto cuff or rotator cuff or whatever, right? Which is just a bionic implant on your shoulder that lets it spin freely.
Yeah. Yeah, so his hips are all out of whack from the dash hoop. His arms are all twisted up from the Skyflyer. Later in the Skyflyer, they do add a handle with like a little axle on top of the handle.
Yeah, that was actually what came up first for me. I was like, no, this makes sense. And then I saw a later picture. I was like, oh no, it is just like.
I figured it would because I did the same Google search earlier today. Yeah. The RC car, with a very good gadget. It's just a remote-controlled car to get to you go through small crevices, so.
It's when you get your 7 ape streak, you can call in the RC car to get basically just get like a multi-ape kill, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then you get the C-130 gunship where you can then artillery fire from the air.
And it's really handy when your biological parents go to the orphanarium to adopt a child and come home with a mouse instead, basically, and he could drive around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice. That's nice for Stu.
It's in like Ratchet and Clank when you send Clank in through the small hole in the wall to solve the puzzle. That's basically the same thing.
It's Rainbow Six Siege. You got the little RC units that you send in to scout ahead of you.
Yeah. Ethan's favorite game, Rainbow Six Siege.
I did play it for a while. I mean, hated it.
But not least is the Magic Punch, and it just looks like a punching bag on like one of those things that. You know, like the crisscross wooden thing?
The collapsible scissor thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Magic Punch sounds like something you're offered when you go home after a night out with Bill Cosby. I'll say.
Well, after you've had a couple of hula back shooters or whatever that was.
Slingback shooters.
Yeah, when you a couple too many slingback shooters, you have a Magic Punch, hangover in the morning.
A slingback shooter with a dash hoop chaser and a Magic Punch to follow it up.
Yeah. A little bit of Sky Flyer to even yourself out, and
it helps you sleep, honestly, because booze fucks up your REM.
Yeah. So the Magic Punch you only get after beating the game once. Like, to beat any level, let's say there's 10 monkeys hidden in a level, probably the first time you go there, you won't have the gadgets to get them all, so you'll only have the goal of, like, 6 monkeys with the intent of playing through the game with all the gadgets later kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
As we're hiring for game developers now, here at the Lore Boys, when we make our own game, it's obviously going to be a Metroidvania, because Ape Escape is also a Metroidvania, clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah. So that's what you have to work with. You kind of know where the history of like the controller is, the idea of the game. But now we're gonna hop into the story. I didn't write in a break, but this is a good spot as any to take one. So we'll be right back with the story.
just like they wrote it up.
Yeah. Welcome back from the break. So we talked a bit about kind of the setup for Ape Escape, and now we'll get into the story. I watched some clips from it today, and I watched cutscene movies or whatever, and every version that I watched was just a different dialect of awful voice acting.
Okay.
There was a British version that I watched the whole thing of. Then I watched the final fight.
Oi, all these monkeys did escape, didn't they, bruv?
Did they localize it for different accents?
I guess so, because the first one that I watched was all British, and then there was an American version that I watched for the final fight.
I love the idea that they don't localize languages at all. They just do different accents for different regions, which in today's world would obviously be very offensive. But they have the Indian region, which has the Indian accent. They've got the my Lieben. All these apes have escaped.
The chubby German kid version.
All these Bavarian apes that we keep in our zoo have escaped.
Now this is something worth looking up because I didn't look it up. Apparently, for I think Ape Escape 2 or 3, Ash Ketchum, the guy who did the voice for Pokemon.
Is it a dude or is it like an adult woman? I would assume it's like a lady.
Maybe it's a lady, but that voice actor I think also performed in the Ape Escape American version, as well as Misty was also in it too as the female character that plays alongside you. The professor, there is a professor, but they didn't get Professor Oak in it. So
I missed it.
Was
He had a great English voice.
Veronica Taylor voiced Ash Ketchum in the first 8 seasons.
Did she also voice Ape Escape? Do you see it on her IMDb?
She also voiced Ash's mother, Delia. I didn't know that.
Ring. Phone call. Don't forget to change your underwear, Ash.
Delia Cat.
Man, she has quite the resume, guys. Holy moly!
I bet.
She was in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. She was in the Cubics show. She was in Berserk.
What is Cubics? Who was she in Berserk?
She played. Oh, I lost. I've scrolled down simply too far. She played Griffith, the young Griffith.
Wow.
English dub for Berserk. Okay. What am I looking for? Ape Escape? No,
Ape
I'm
Escape
not getting
2 or 3. 2.
I'm not getting. I searched Ape. Get no Ape. No Ape on Veronica Taylor's. I didn't mean to blow up your spot here, but you asked the question. I would have let it.
Yeah, no, look, Ape Escape 2 cast Hikaru Jimmy, voiced by Veronica Taylor, and 2 others.
Oh, it's not on our
Hikaru Jimmy?
Yeah, well, sorry, / Jimmy. He's Hikaru in Japan, and the main character's named Jimmy in Ape Escape 2. Which is a story for another day. We're only covering Ape Escape 1 today.
Okay. That is a good name for a child character in an anime. Hikaru Jimmy is a fantastic name. Called Hick Jim.
Yeah. So, let's get into the story. The opening cutscene starts with an innocent-looking albino monkey. This is like when after you get that iconic PS1 opening playing sound.
The wow.
Yeah. And you hope that the game loads after that. Yeah. Then you get an opening cutscene, and it's an innocent-looking albino monkey, and he's all smiley, and he looks down at this hat, and this helmet, and he puts it on, and then as he looks up, his face is completely changed. Now he has like the angrier eyes, and he has like a little smirk on his face. We learn later that this is an experimental helmet known as the Peak Point helmet. This gives him augmented intelligence near instantly, and psychic powers, and the cruel desire to rule all of mankind.
Okay, yeah. And his bullying game is pretty on point because he's got those peak points. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's really like he's across the cafeteria and he's like timing his pokes timing his points. Excuse me. Yeah. Just as you're looking over from the other side of the room, you're like,
peak.
Talking about me, isn't he?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's peak.
Damn.
Yeah.
Albino monkey.
Yeah. He becomes like super intelligent. His name is Spectre. You can look up Spectre Ape Escape if there's an image there. That would have been a good one that I could have grabbed, but.
You know what I got really nostalgic for is, do you remember a lot of like PS1 and even some PS2 games where after you got like the Sony Blom and like the sparkle noise when like the PlayStation logo would come up before the part, was that a lot of games had like a skippable tracking shot that would like fly through a little 3D area, like a single shot that would then go to a thing that you could then interact with the menu on. Like the one that I obviously remember the most is like
Crash
Medieval,
Bandicoot.
which I should definitely do an episode about. And Crash as well, where it like goes to the spooky graveyard.
Yep.
And then you've got the skeleton with like the royalty-free cackle when you select options, but he's got his bone hand on the tombstone, which is how you select like new game and shit.
Yeah.
I did post a picture of Spectre. He doesn't even look like an ape. He just looks like a boy, I guess, like a very Kingdom Hearts-esque character.
He looks like the Squidlings from fucking what's that? The Paint game on the Switch.
Splatoon.
Yeah, he looks like one of them.
Yeah, he really becomes more human-like, especially after he puts the helmet on. That's like Ape Escape 3 version of him too. So really, he's kind of like sitting down monkey. Like, yeah, that's the opening cutscene where he's looking at the helmet.
He's much more monkey-like, but they gave the monkey pants, which instantly makes him look kind of more boy-like, right?
He's got a midriff.
Yeah. He
does.
does.
Yeah, he's wearing like a belly shirt.
Yeah.
or he's got a belt made out of human skin.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, predisposed to evil. This albino monkey was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's also he's like the creeper from Jeepers Creeper.
So he might have been kind of all dressed up by someone at Monkey Park, because that's where he was before he escaped. It's an amusement park based around apes, so they have basically apes do tricks for humans kind of thing. It's very embarrassing if you had to be an ape there.
Apes together entertaining. I think.
Yeah. That's the second tagline for this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real toss-up between fake history is the best history and apes together entertaining.
Yeah.
We drew straws.
Yeah. So Spectre, he makes a bunch of copies of the helmet for these monkey brethren to give them some form of intelligence. He has like super intelligence, but he gives like basically like small doses of intelligence to all these monkeys called Peepo monkeys, Pipo.
Peepo. Pet the Peepo monkey.
Yeah. And
Go happy?
they're sometimes just called monkeys or apes, but they're ordinary monkeys under the control of a mass-produced helmet, like the same Peak Point helmet. But those are all the monkeys that you'll catch in-game that have the sirens on their head, and they're wearing pants.
Right.
They're the
So
dumb henchmen of the monkey army.
Okay,
Yeah.
And you said he was given this helmet by a worker at Monkey Land.
It's we don't know. The game opens up that the helmet's between his legs. Like that's right after the blom and everything. So
yeah, and the intelligence helmet just ended up by accident in the ape enclosure, right? At the albino monkey paddock. That's where it just like fell. And of course, like I've fallen into the trap now of using the word ape and monkey interchangeably, but they're different animals.
Oh yeah. In this universe, they're the same. But
okay,
yeah.
Back from another, or here we are at another day of work at the Advanced CIA Research Lab, built right next door to that, what you call it, amusement park. I'm not sure. Let's say, Simmons, do you have that helmet prototype that you've been working on to control, Union strikers or whatever, that we could try putting on them to get them back to work? Like, well, I had it on me a second ago, but I did go to the monkey park for my lunch break.
oh no, the protesters are going to be super intelligent now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Spectre does is he passes like helmets to all his monkey friends, he breaks them all out of Monkey Park, and there's a whole scene of them just like the front where it says Monkey Park in like the big letters, and all the monkeys en masse just escaping.
Because you had mentioned it earlier, this is a lot like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, because they have Caesar, who is the first monkey to be given super intelligence, and that's not talked about in the movie from the 60s, as far as I know. Like, humans destroy the world in the 60s film with like atomic weapons, and then monkeys are just left over and continue to evolve.
Yeah. And
like humans, because they had been wiped out by ourselves, became like primitive. Like they're basically just like cave people. Everybody's got like the women have like the hide bra and the loincloth, and the men just have the loincloth, right? But it's funny how like Ape Escape had the Messiah monkey, I guess, before Rise of the Planet of the Apes did.
All art is derivative, and it's all derivative of Ape Escape.
Yes.
Yeah.
It also sounds a little something like a little play you might know called The Tempest, if you think about it. So
Rise of the Planet
like
of the Apes.
Rosetta Stone has like Greek, Sanskrit, Hebrew, and then Peepo monkey. Just
Yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I think, was animated using a DualShock controller as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Andy Serkis obviously was the bassist for the DualShock controller as well.
Yeah, it was Andy Serkis using a DualShock controller, which was based upon him. It was very, very avant-garde.
So we do have our Planet of the Apes leader monkey, but we don't have the time travel aspect yet, and we're just about to get there.
Okay. Oh,
Well, we
of
know
course.
there's a time net, so
Yeah. So after escaping from Monkey Park and freeing the rest of his monkey brethren,
Ledlin.
Webwin.
the newly formed ape army makes their way to the professor's laboratory. And there's just a professor who Spike's friends with. Back then, there's always like that wise professor in these animes and all that stuff, right? So
It's Doc Brown from like Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just for some
Who-
reason
who-
a teenager hangs out with a senior citizen who does science.
Yeah.
Turns
who,
out-
who else is going to give him a kayak paddle and then encourage him to jump off the 3rd-story parking lot?
Yeah, of course.
just spin your wrist more. Yeah.
Don't mind the other bodies at the bottom of the drop.
Yeah. So it turns out the professor was the original inventor of the Peak Point helmet that gave our monkey friend his super intelligence.
Classic.
Spectre. And the professor's also just like screwing in the last screw on the time station, which is a time machine.
Okay.
As they
Just in time.
storm the place. Yeah. He hasn't even got to try it himself. Like, he's literally just finishing it. And Spectre the monkey and his minions come in. They capture the professor and his granddaughter, Natalie, and prepare to use the time station.
It's a conveniently timed time machine.
Yep. So meanwhile,
Being carried off by apes. It's like, this is so ironic.
Yeah.
To be put in like a bamboo cage.
meanwhile, we get like a cut to the player character. So we see Spike running down the road with his friend Jake. They're racing down to the professor's lab to give the experimental time machine a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I hope I get merged with the DNA of a fly.
Yeah.
I hope we could time travel back to before I jumped off that parking garage and could still use my legs.
Yeah, like Jake gets into the teleportation pod. It's just like, yeah, and on New Game Plus Plus, you get another gadget that lets you like spew digestive fluid onto apes, and that's how you catch them.
Yeah,
It's dissolve in your hands.
It's funny. Ape Escape was the first game to use the DualShock. It was also the first game to feature sold separately DLC, and the sold separately DLC. You go back in time and kill baby Hitler.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's not
I
bad.
was like, I started writing. I'm like, how can I put a Hitler joke into this? Because that's the time machine thing, right?
The question of every script, really.
I was landing on as they're running down the street. One of them says, "I'll time travel back to now and hit you in the balls," and one of them just falls over. Yeah.
Pretty good.
So I'm gonna try and time travel back to the Paleolithic era and brush a butterfly off of a leaf, so that at this point in the future, a baseball will end up hitting you in the.
Oh,
The I can't believe it's not butterfly effect, right?
yeah. Well, so Spectre has to go back in time and kill himself in the womb. Is what happens in this in this game. Right?
Yep. So by the time they get to the professor's lab, the people monkeys have taken over the lab. So there's Spectre there, who's like the bad boy with his albino tuft of hair over his face and his smirk, and all of these dumbass people monkeys with sirens on their heads running around.
I'd like to think the sirens make noise, so like he's delivering his evil villain's hyper intelligent speech, but he is completely drowned out by not just screaming monkeys, but also siren helmets, like for the entire time. Like it's just an absolute cacophony.
Yeah. Spectre orders a monkey to activate the time station, which we see in a cutscene. So one of the monkeys just presses it, and this just transports everyone in the room to a different time, and not all at the same time. So this transports Spike, his best friend Jake, who he's running down the street with. You play as Spike with red hair, Jake has the blue hair. And Spectre and all the monkeys in the room, the whole monkey armory, across time.
Does this serve as like the hub, and it's like why you get different levels, so you can go to like
And there's the dinosaur level.
got
and
it.
And the Ice
ancient
Age.
pyramids. Yeah. And
You guys have played 90s video games, because that's exactly what it is. And
creation of the universe when Adam still hadn't formed.
you start off in like caveman times.
Death of the universe, essentially, where everything's just black.
Yeah. You start off in caveman times, and basically every level is a new era after that, working up to medieval times. Then you get to present, and then you start to see what the scary future is in Spectre's hands. But
Okay, so they conveniently gloss over World War II and the rise of fascism and Nazi.
What were the apes doing during World War II?
I mean, I
Like
guess
black and white pictures. They've got like the high cut beige shorts instead of the little yellow pants.
I don't know. Are you referencing the Minions meme where that's
Yeah,
like the common question?
What were the minions doing?
It is canon. I love that they wrote like it is canon. They wrote it into the script that they were stuck on Antarctica during World War II. So it's like,
Really?
yeah, it's written into the script like during that period because after they fought for Napoleon, they ended up like getting exiled with Napoleon and they drifted to Antarctica until modern day. But I do love that the writers had the conscious thought that if Hitler was around, they would be on his side. We need an out here. Right?
Yeah, I have somebody at work. This like mom-aged lady who sends minion memes unironically, and I got a couple today.
I love that. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Well, the People Monkeys, they don't mention where they are in World War II. We'll just say they didn't land in that time.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no Polish ghetto level in this PS1 game for children.
Honestly, like as bad as it is, the under Spectre's orders, he would be all for like human wars. Like he would want the humans to wipe themselves out. So they'd either like do something to speed that up, like create a bunch of weapons for both sides, probably because he does.
So okay, so what we're saying is the helmet was created by the CIA.
We keep talking about the CIA. Someday this podcast is just gonna go away without explanation.
We're just gonna go dark, and no one's ever gonna hear from us again.
Yeah. So Spike gets separated from his bestie Jake, and he gets a transmission from the professor. This is like your opening right before you enter the first level cutscene kind of thing. Spike, you must capture all the monkeys scattered across time because they're going to mess up the time, like the future, if you let them screw with the past. But first, take these. Here's your time net, your stun club. So go hit them in the back of the legs and all that stuff.
I was going to add, okay, so the time net is to send them back to modern times.
Yeah.
Yeah, the proper time. Yeah.
Yep. That was my next point, but you got there fast. You're smart boys here. You guys, are you wearing a helmet?
Yeah, Pete's actually time traveled into the future and got all the answers. He already listened to this episode.
Okay. All right.
He knows precisely when that baseball hits JB in the nuts later on this episode.
Later on tonight.
Yeah. So the monkeys, your whole goal is you're going through the past level by level, and as soon as you capture the monkeys, they get sent back to the present, which stops them from altering the past. And it makes this really fun sound effect, and the camera does a 360 around you every time you catch a monkey. It's very satisfying every time you catch a monkey. I wish they would remake this game. Like they redid Crash, Spyro. I would dust off my PS4 to play this game. I love this game.
I had Googled it. Like I pulled up the clip earlier in the show and just like didn't put it in, but now that it's relevant, you can get Ape Escape 2 on PS4 for $10 today.
Oh yeah? All right. Yeah. Okay. Well,
JB glancing over at his PS4, so clogged with the husky hair, it's a fire hazard. Just like, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
Start a fire. I'm burning my apartment building down.
I'm finishing this rosé and I'm burning down my house, guys.
Yep.
By rosé, Pete is referring to red wine and beer.
No, rosé. I got rosé.
He's got rosé.
I thought you said red wine.
No, he's got the one. Oh, is that Nicolas Lalou?
Nicolas Lalou, the $12 bottle of wine, which is the cheapest one you can get at a Depannard in Quebec right now.
Yeah, I know it's the one with the guy on the bike.
Yep. I put it on a little ice and it's not so bad. Anyways, so this is like now gameplay. You're going from level to level. There's like different time zones that have like 3 portals for each time zone, so you get to see a few different areas in every time zone. And I'm sorry, David was struggling. David, one of our listeners, is struggling with XCOM Enemy Unknown because he just mentioned in the Discord earlier that he can't get it working, and I've seen him launch it like 100 times today. It's just funny to think we're recording and he's yelling at his computer right now. Yeah.
Can't confirm. Popped up for me too.
Yeah.
Shout out to David. I hope on Wednesday when this comes out, you've solved your problem.
Yeah, me too. XCOM's fucking good.
So yes, you get your time net, your stun glove. You go in from level to level. Like, and after a couple of levels, Spectre sends a video call to the professor and Natalie, and he
ring, phone call.
Yep, you got it. And he reveals that this is not the first time they met Spectre. They have met Spectre when he was Dumb Monkey too, and he worked at Monkey Park to perform tricks for people. And they used to like go and point and laugh at him as a dumb little.
Behold, the world's first monkey capable of putting a helmet on. Come on, step right up. Watch as he protects his cranium.
Yeah,
people just like whipping peanuts at him.
Behold, your peanuts have no effect, for his helmet bounces them off harmlessly.
So yeah, we learned that like this is his motivation. Like he hates humans, and it's partially the people who made time travel's fault. So we get that full circle kind of thing. And
this really feels so okay. So it really is, and I guess I could use the Rise of the Planet the Apes films as like a parallel because they really do play up in those movies. The monkeys really haven't done anything wrong. You know, like. They've done some things wrong.
Sorry, David just launched Stardew Valley. He gave up.
I gave up.
Okay. Sorry.
But they do kind of push this message that like, once the monkeys gain intelligence, now they're just like, hey, we don't want to be like experimented on for like we don't want to get cancer because you're testing out makeup us, right?
Yeah.
Which is fair. It's this whole like commentary on like animal testing and all this stuff. But I do love the idea that you're playing the bad guy from that point of view in this game, where you're just like, no, back to the park, you fucking monkey! Like, come on, dance for peanuts, okay? Put the helmet on and dance for peanuts.
For real,
these peanuts need whipping, okay?
But Spectre kind of goes too far in the other direction because he starts to develop robots of enormous power and send them back in time.
Ape Escape and the horseshoe theory, of course, naturally.
He wants the triumph of man to be removed from the timeline, as he says, so that apes could rule the world. So it would be men.
He'd have to reverse engineer the helmet himself and like give himself the blueprints for it to remain intelligent. Because man made the helmet, whereas as ape used the helmet.
And it'd be really hard because like you couldn't take it off to study it, and you couldn't open it up because as soon as you did, you become really stupid, right? So it's like Catch-22.
Yeah. So there's a lot of time holes in this. Like, we end up going to Spectre's future later, and the laboratory still exists with everything in it. Which, like, in Spectre's future, in theory, man never would have, like, been able to build the laboratory, but it still exists. Yeah.
Because he's gone back in time and destroyed it.
Yeah, well, he's
or destroyed the possibility for the humans to create it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a naturally occurring laboratory.
Oh, yes, of course. There are a few of them.
Yeah, UNESCO heritage site.
Yeah.
Naturally occurring makeup testing lab. The pigs just wander in, and the stalagmite falls like and explodes into a cloud of dust, and they just end up like in full foundation and eyeliner.
Concealer.
That sounds like something you'd make in Minecraft, some type of farm.
So if we have our Minecraft server, somebody needs to make an automated like animal testing facility.
Yeah. Automated lipstick on a pig facility.
Yeah.
You can dye a sheep. Maybe there's a way to get a sheep dye.
Auto dyeing sheep.
Yeah. So anyways,
that's everybody's homework for the week. We'll check in on the next episode.
Yeah. Like you said, Ethan, it would be hard to change the helmet because he has to wear it to be smart. But I guess it made him so smart he was able to alter it because he has an advanced version of the Peak Point helmet. He's modded his own helmet. He's put a new graphics card in it. And
it's non-regulation.
Yeah, it's overclocked, and he's even smarter and more powerful.
Voided his warranty. That fool.
Yeah.
He took the single sticker over one of the screws on the helmet. He peeled that off. It's just like, yeah, that's it.
Yep. Now he sits on a hovering throne, and he has psychic powers. So he used his new powers to subdue Jake, and actually turned Jake onto the monkey side. So now he's based in Monkey Pilled. And he's like you have to be an alpha monkey. You know, like you don't look at the humans behind you. You only go forward. You get 2 coffees. You don't talk to women. Women will talk to you, and stuff like stupid stuff like that, like you see on TikTok with this Andrew Tate bullshit now.
I mean, like Spectre does sound like a rise and grind program you would find on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
it does.
Yeah. So that's your best friend is now on the villain in quotation side. So like as Spike, you do have to kind of match up against your friend a few times, which feels like such betrayal.
Yeah, he's the Vegeta, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the show. I know, but he's like a villain who turns friend, right?
Yeah, it's just weird because like you guys were like such good friends, and then Spectre got elected, and he started watching certain YouTube channels, and he just got echo chambered, and
the algorithm starts the ape revolution.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it kind of did if you think about it, though.
Yeah, now he's just sending you these messages about how the government's trying to take away your right to wearing mind-altering helmets or whatever, and like how the new vaccine rollout is actually supposed to block your theta brainwaves that your helmet amplifies to make you smarter and see through their bullshit.
Right. Yep.
The helmet calcifies your pineal gland, so you can't you can't participate in the Great Awakening.
Yeah. Spectre hangs up the call with one final warning. Any resistance to this plan, he just told them about unprompted, would be eliminated swiftly. So he tells them their entire plan, but he's like, "Don't mess with it, though."
Classic. You remember earlier when I talked? I bet Spectre should be wearing yellow because it sounds like he's flying a little too close to the sun with all this hubris.
Yep. Despite his warning, the professor and Natalie, his granddaughter, continue to send Spike new gadgets. So that's the water net, monkey radar, slingback shooter, super hoop, sky flyer, all that fun stuff.
And look at this, Spike! I've developed this sort of device called the slingback shooter, which is sort of a Y-shaped stick with an elastic band on it. But look, it's more than that. Even if you put a rock in the elastic band, behold the velocity with which it can fire.
But when you aim it, you can only move in 8 janky directions.
You'll notice between the bands is a small leather strap.
Now take this tear gas canister and try that to oppress the proletariat.
So you have the pebbles, but you can also pick up explosive.
Okay.
Okay. It's like no. I swear to God, my slingback shooter had rubber bullets in it, officer.
And behold, my next invention. You simply empty a can of soda, and inside it you must put a little bit of bleach and a little bit of ammonia. Throw that at your enemies, and behold the devastation it can wreak.
Yeah. Dude, they all have yellow pants from the mustard gas. That's why we figured it out.
Right. They put it over their faces. It neutralizes it.
Yeah.
Mustard gas made me shit my.
Shit my shirt. Yeah.
That's all the beautiful poetry from the front lines in World War I. And so, Elizabeth, I shit my shirt here in the trenches of Belgium.
So Spike's former bestie Jake, he occasionally challenges Spike between levels. So you get a nice little break from trying to catch monkeys with a time net, and he tries to kill you.
Okay, that seems fair.
Yeah. I remember one racing level. I think it was like after the 3rd or 6th level. I can't remember which, but where you just had to run and you had to jump from platform to platform. You basically never stopped running, but like the jumps were like really delayed and really weird, like the arc of the jump. And I remember just being like a 10-year-old kid and being stuck on that level for like an entire Saturday evening and having to go to bed and think about it. Like, how am I going to beat that level tomorrow? I need to see the rest of the game.
Yeah.
The music from, because again, like a lot of PS1 games have a lot of the similar DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Hog Wild is like in Crash Bandicoot where you're riding a warthog through like it's an infinite runner and all you have to do is jump over and dodge obstacles.
We talked about it in the Crash.
The music from that. The music from that level is tattooed on my brain. Like I will have a stroke and be in a coma for decades. And if you guys come in there and just play the music from Hog Wild, I'll wake up and ask for a beer. Like 100%.
Ooga booga.
Booga
booga. So Spike eventually gets to you're basically traveling forward in time from level to level, it's like what I said. And eventually get to the medieval period, which is I think more or less the midpoint of the game. It might be a little bit later. But you find both Spectre and Jake in this big castle. And Spectre shows you an invention, the Mark I battle cruiser.
Okay, that's so medieval of him.
Yeah. And he teleports with Jake back to the present time through a portal. And then you like run as Spike and jump through and like get in the last second kind of thing. And you're back in present time. And you see Japan's capital, Tokyo, has been overrun with apes. There's billboards with Spectre on it. There's like statues of apes everywhere. It's the future. It's the monkey future that Spectre wanted. Yeah, return
They
to
were
monkey.
weebs all along. Oh no, they were weebs all along.
The
Statue
game
of Liberty's got like a body pillow instead of that tablet. in her arms.
A fedora instead of the tiara, it's got a fedora on.
Yeah, the seven. All right, hang on. I'm erasing all the ideas I had up until this point.
I just wrote down Weeb Statue of Liberty as to remind me.
Neckbeard Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. So Spike returns to the lab in this future timeline, or in the present timeline, which is the exchange timeline, which like it still exists in the monkey future somehow, naturally occurring, like you said. And there's no one left there. But the Cortana computer type lady named Cassie, Casi, shows a video of apes capturing the professor and Natalie, who still exist in this future somehow, and taking them away.
Okay.
Yeah. So Cassie also notifies Spike that Spectre has his main base in the city center. And,
Okay, so I mean, I was gonna ask, and like you said, there's lots of time holding.
Yeah.
So this is a professor and Cassie, or not Cassie, but professor and his
Natalie.
granddaughter, who are like uniquely were born in this era, but they know Spike, like they have the knowledge of who you are, even though they were.
It's as if like, you're in the old time. You have the same relationship, but they just exist somehow. They're going to be the MacGuffin for why we still like, especially want to get after Spectre, because we want to save our friends too.
They're like in their own like time chamber that's just like immune to the changes on the timeline or something like that, we'll say.
Yeah, it's a pretty big gap in storytelling, I'll be honest, but that's it. We just like take it with a grain of salt.
Zero out of 10. This
Unplayable.
Yeah.
It's the Dark Souls of storytelling. You gotta admit.
Yeah. But now Spike, like, so Cassie shows a video to show that they got captured. She has info. The computer lady would be like, hey, he's at the main base in the city center. And before you go, take this. Here's a remote control car. This will probably help you out.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, she's a child too, so. Oh no, I keep thinking the granddaughter, not Cassie.
Yeah, no, it's computer lady. And she's like, here's a base. He has a factory where he's making advanced weapons, big guns, big robots.
Yeah. It was the medieval era, and he created a Mark I battle cruiser.
Yeah.
Or maybe the M stands for medieval K1 battle cruiser.
Yeah. Out of like limestone and mud.
Yeah.
It was made
with chainmail on its outside.
Yeah, just like no guns, just like a lance on one side, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's your Hot Wheels.
Yeah. So you're a kid going into a factory filled with weapons and apes who are ready to shoot you with them. But exactly, here's your Hot Wheels. Good luck.
Here's your Hot
games
Wheels.
Are crazy, dude.
Yeah. So video games happen. Spikes goes to the factory has a power grid. So first you go to the power grid, you catch enough monkeys to disable the power grid. Then you go to the factory, do the same thing, catch enough monkeys, shut down the factory. So now all the weapons and robots for Spectre's armies is on hold. So you've cut his weapons supply.
You pulled the big rubber plug out of the bottom of the hydroelectric dam, so all the water drained out and shut off the power, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, good.
This is like a pretty effective tactics to target the supply chains during war, right? So like
I kept wanting to say guerrilla warfare, and I'm just like, that sounds stupid in this context.
I can't believe it hasn't come up yet.
Oh, yeah,
It
wow.
like popped in my head. I'm just like, I can't say that out loud.
It didn't even come up. He just like copped out at the end. He was like, honestly, like I don't know what to do with this anymore.
Yeah,
Here, right?
exactly. Yes. I need to like swap in a new joke that I'm ready to like use. I just gotta get rid of this one. I gotta shred it.
So that mission done, cutting the supply lines, Spike hurries to Spectre's base. This base is a large TV tower, remodeled for a leader of a monkey's needs. But you quickly...
It's a propaganda tower with like the dishes on the sides and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the monkeys, after rebuilding society, didn't learn from any of our mistakes and like didn't redo like the broadcast systems, and all that. They're just like, we're gonna make the same mistakes the humans make. Honestly,
like intelligence. There's different types of intelligence, right? There's like emotional intelligence,
street smarts, book smarts, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Since a human programmed this helmet, the type of intelligence that it enhances. I'm thinking that's why it's doomed to make the same mistakes, right?
Gotcha.
Right.
That's not canon. That's Lore Boy's canon. But
That's like canon. It's canon enough for me.
Yeah. So Spike finally finds his friends with Spectre. He catches all the monkeys on the way up. Then he tries his best to free his two friends, Professor and Natalie. But Spectre's pretty pissed that Spike has made it this far and his trouble, like giving him so much trouble. So he's like, Jake, take Professor and Natalie away. So your best friend takes it away. Battle music starts and you have to fight Spectre in the battle cruiser. Long fight. You beat him. He's forced to retreat. I don't actually know what this fight looks like, but I'll describe to you what the last fight looks like, which is probably similar. But he leaves Spike a hint that he has a new game in mind. So you get a message from Spectre a little bit later saying, come back to Monkey Park. It's now renovated, filled with death traps, and your friends are hidden somewhere here, but only for a short time before they die.
Okay.
So
thank God I have a time machine.
That's a good point.
Time's kind of irrelevant for me, dude. It's not really a threat.
Maybe because since he followed him through the portal here, he's kind of stuck in this time right now. But
okay, yeah. He's not actually opening the hoops, I guess.
Yeah, okay, I'm trying to give them stakes. If they didn't do this, they should have. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually the problem with that's always like the thing or the hurdle to overcome anytime you're running any kind of time travel fiction. It's the flux capacitor not being invented or being out of juice whenever he goes back and not having the uranium to power it.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? Like,
yeah, you gotta have something like that. So Spike, no other choice. He agrees to this dangerous game. So he brings all his gadgets and he goes back to Monkey Park where they used to ridicule Spectre, but now it was Spike's turn to go through this terror.
He's got to get pelted with peanuts.
Well, yeah, that's the final challenge is they challenge him to put on a helmet. There's the poo flinging competition, there's the banana peeling competition. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
The conversation that happens at work with like disturbing regularity for me right now is like opening a banana from the bottom instead of using the stem.
Oh, I always do the bottom. It's easier.
Yeah, I'm a bottom gang. I'm a bottom, if you will.
Okay. You're both bottoms. I'm like in my relationships, I'm always the stem. I personally.
Okay. All right.
I find it easier.
All right. Well, we all have our...
Yeah, I just find when you do from the top, I always just end up bending the top of the banana. Like I don't break the peel half the time, and I find I just bruise my banana.
That was the complaint that I had heard, where it's just like, when I peel one, right, from as a stem. And you just get like the tiny soft spot, I guess, where it like kind of rolls over on your knuckle. But then otherwise the entire thing, and it snaps off at the bottom of it anyway. So
they're both very doable. Yeah. I mean,
for the next mailbag, I would like at least 35 emails about how you guys open bananas.
I don't open banana.
I do it like a monkey. I grab the bottom and I bite
with your foot,
the bottom,
obviously.
And I just pull it. Yeah, I hold it with my foot. I lift it to my mouth and I bite the bottom. And
yeah, I do it like a monkey too, but like a cartoon monkey, where I will just like hold it out. I'll hold it out like a foot, squeeze it at the top for Peter's description.
Right.
Have it explode out of the peel perfectly, and then pop up into the air, and I swallow it in one bite.
Oh.
Yeah, of course. All right. We all have our way.
It's breakfast.
Yeah,
You gotta go quick, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a monkey on the go.
We don't have time machines.
The Activia the yogurts that make you poop properly commercials for like fitness people on the go would be like bananas. They'd have like an injectable banana peel basically in this ape future.
This is Spectre's utopia.
Yeah,
I love those yogurt tubes. You could freeze them too, and it was like a nice
Yogurt?
little treat.
Oh,
yeah.
bro.
Yogurt? Great branding too.
Yeah.
Gogurt on the go. Come
It
on.
was good. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yoplait like frozen. Like freezies are fine, but freezies like Captain Crunch are like, it is like eating fiberglass because the plastic will cut your lips open and give you the Chelsea grin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yogurt was better because the soft plastic seam on the side too, so you could just like casually. You'd have to be careful when you're eating your fucking sugar milk at recess.
we were big. I used to get 2 Go-Gurts in my lunch, and we were big at me and a friend of mine growing up who was a wild card, I guess. We were big fans of you fold them in half and you just pop them, and we'd always like it'd always be like a Mexican standoff, and then as soon as one person would pop them, we both pop them. But usually we ended up popping them on a third party, either my friend Bobby or Michael. Or
you
some
twist
of
them
the kids.
up.
Maybe a Jamie every now and then.
Yeah. I remember I would order onion rings, and I would eat the breaded part and keep the slimy onions and throw them at people, and they would like stick to people's faces.
That's not even onion rings. You're just eating like a portion of batter.
Oh yeah, deep fried batter at that point.
But it was so great how they stuck. Like it was just comedy gold,
We sure did cause a lot of trouble when we were young, I must say.
Unruly youths.
Yeah.
So where are we? We just got to Monkey Park, but renovated to have death trap filled rides. You go through a haunted house roller coaster and a really spooky circus, and you free both Natalie and the professor from their respective confinements. But the last challenge is
you think in a haunted house made by monkeys, would they have the things that we have in a haunted house, or do you think they would have like things monkeys are afraid of? Like, would out of the coffin would a branch that looks kind of like a snake pop out at them?
Yeah, a baby falls through the ceiling, and a human baby falls through the ceiling and lands next to you, and you just hear the cocking of a rifle.
I was gonna say everything is probably
it's like a kid on a spring comes out of the ceiling. Park Ranger 2 like flips up. He's like a board.
Like a shitty like walkie-talkie voice comes through like, he's going for the kid, get him.
The sound of chainsaws and no place to live.
Rainforest deforestation.
Yeah, exactly.
We still have a monkey brain though. I don't know if this is still true, but back when I studied psychology in school, they would do this thing where you would be like watching something and they would flash subliminal images really quick, and people would rate like a lower mood or being more scared or whatever from a snake. If you showed a snake really quickly, people would have a visceral reaction, but if you'd show a gun, it wouldn't happen. Because we didn't have enough years for guns to evolve in our monkey brains. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of funny where it's just like, oh yeah, like right before I had to go to Phrenology 101, they would like just flash pictures of snakes at people and see if it scared them.
Yeah. Pretty much. It was some psych students for sure that had to go through that. I'll make $10 to go do this study, and then they'll freak me out a little bit. But yeah, so last challenge for Spike is he has to go in a go-kart ride to face Jake. And his friend's in like a super heavily armored car, and you're just in a normal bumper car.
Okay,
yeah. But
one of these in the action park tank, and one of these is just in like a shopping cart, basically.
Yeah. You beg your old friend to like come back to like, come on, man, just like stay off TikTok for like a month, see how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dude, let's just go camping, man. Like, let's leave the phones behind, dude. Yeah. No news, no Reddit. Like, let's just
nothing.
Let's unplug for a while, man. Like, honestly, you need it.
Like you're to deprogram him, basically.
Yeah. So Jake just calls Spike a cringe beta cuck, and a final battle ensues. And Spike is the victor. There's like a large explosion at one point, and Big Boom makes Jake go free from Spectre's control. And there's like a cutscene where he's on the ground and you're talking to him, and he kind of comes to and he's like, "Where was I? What happened?"
Yeah.
And we're like,
It knocks the dent out of his head like the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
exactly. We're like, "Don't worry, man. Your phone's
What?
broken. You don't need to go on TikTok anymore. We
What's
can
that?
go home."
Pizza basement?
Yeah.
Stop the steal? What happened? Where am I?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it, Jake. Let's just go home. Let's
Yeah,
just go back to Wisconsin.
I
we get
remember.
some-
All I can remember is 5G and the soundtrack for Hog Wild.
That's how you guys are gonna deprogram me. Is like that, that's my Manchurian Candidate trigger. Is the music from Hog Wild?
When Pete inevitably gets monkey pilled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spike receives an invitation from Spectre to come to the castle at the park and have a little talk. So you have to go through a heavily armed castle, avoiding traps, security, all that fun stuff.
He gives you an invitation, but he doesn't tell his guards to stand down. Wow.
Well, he
Nice
wants to
hosting.
kill you.
Nice hosting, dude.
So then we get to the final fight, which I actually watched, and the voice acting is so bad. But like at first, like Spike.
I want a link after the show. I want to see this.
Yeah, we can
when we
watch
watch our
it.
when we
We'll watch
detox and watch our memes. I also want to see this.
Yeah.
Lore Boys live react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Finally, you've made it to here, but this will be your last steps," or something like that. Like something so cringe, and then he like shoots a beam because he also has psychic powers this whole time. He doesn't just have monkey intelligence. So he
Yeah, you
shoots,
had mentioned. Yeah.
yeah, like a beam, and kind of like an anime, like Spike's like holding it off, and there's like a big bubble of energy around him.
Spirit bombing.
And
How
then
is he holding it off? Just like through sheer force of will,
so we don't know. It's happening, and then
not being monkey pilled, basically.
yeah, and then after like Spectre's like, "What happened? How is this possible?" And then Spike's like, "Sometimes being strong isn't just strength," or something like that. Like it's such a bad line. And then like Spectre's like loses his cool. He's like, "Spike's dangerous. He can resist my monkey powers." So he hops in like a mechanoid. It's the Goliath armor, and there's a two-phase battle. The first scene of the battle is actually kind of cool. I wouldn't have thought of doing it this way, and I think it's kind of creative. You fight the battle through the eyes of the Goliath that you're fighting. So it's like a red screen, and you see like the lock-ons to your own character, and you're Spike running around trying to dodge the missiles and get close enough to hit with the stun baton.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they did that in one of the Contra games. That feels like something I played in like. That feels like I have not played Ape Escape, but that feels like a thing I've seen in a basement.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it was well done, and like as you get closer, it kind of gets harder to weave through the rockets or whatever, and then as soon as you hit once, it bounces you back. So you're constantly just weaving through rockets to get closer, and then bounce you back.
Okay, cool.
But once you actually hit that down, then you see like the Transformer, or not even Transformers, the Power Rangers, like when they all go together in the big suit. It's like that, except from the waist up. So you just have to fight one arm, then the other arm, then the face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's like Andros, kind of.
Yeah.
And the floor is falling out in certain parts of the phases, so you have to like make sure you're on the right third of the floor while you're fighting, and not lose all your cookies.
Nah. Or your t-shirt.
Yeah, or your t-shirts. Yeah. So eventually, Spectre takes the L, and he's forced to retreat after losing to Spike for the third time. And he returns to the laboratory. You, as Spike, return to the laboratory. You reunite with Jake, the professor, and Natalie, and you clean up the citywide. You get all the poop, all the banana peels, everything. You're pulling down statues of monkeys and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost the war, okay? They don't get to keep their fucking statues up. Jesus Christ. Not my country.
Not my country, Japan.
Yeah. Not my Japan, okay? Thank you very much.
So the game's actually not done.
Oh, there's a post-credit scene.
No, Spectre gets away. So now they give you the final new gadget, which is the magic punch that lets you break down certain walls.
Oh, okay.
So up until now, you couldn't actually finish the game by capturing all the apes and repairing time. That's why you have to actually clean up the city, and time doesn't just fix it. So you still have to go back with all your gadgets. Now that you have the full repertoire, you just play through the game again, and you capture all the apes, and then you get to have a final showdown with Spectre once you capture all the apes.
Okay.
I didn't see the final fight, but it's pretty obvious that Spectre loses for the.
We didn't check out the fucking Ape Escape true ending.
No, I didn't watch it.
New Game Plus true ending Ape Escape, dude.
No,
like, you're just not committed to the craft.
I want to play it. To be honest. I got to see it for myself, and I want you to see it for yourself. If you pick this up and you capture every ape, I want it to be a fun surprise for you.
$10, baby, on PS4 right now.
Yeah. But the final outcome is Spectre is captured. They take the helmet off, and he's returned to being a common monkey. And he's returned to the park too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure that was going to be the outcome of all this. Like, it turns out we were right to berate and belittle them this whole time. No lessons learned.
Yeah.
We fixed the timeline. Back to indentured slavery for you.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, there's 2 more games in, like, the main trilogy, and Spectre manages to get the helmet 2 more times.
Okay.
So
one more time, that's a big fuck up.
Yeah.
2 more times,
yeah.
That's sabotage.
Yeah,
That's
create hyper-intelligent apes once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Or shame on you. Hyper-intelligent apes twice, shame on me.
Yeah, I don't know. Some like angry 48-year-old in like a Hawaiian shirt showed up and like started screaming at people, and then the monkey had the helmet again. It destabilized the whole region. I don't know how the fuck it keeps happening.
It's the fat sunburned guy from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the tourist who did it.
The games are really good, though. I think on PS Now you can play the original, and now I'm hearing from Pete you can just play the second one on PlayStation. I'd love if they made more. This is one of the games that was like really popular. Like, it went platinum in its day, and it was like hugely popular, but they didn't continue it as long as they did for some of these other trilogies like Spyro or Crash or Ratchet and Clank.
They're making a remaster of The Last of Us, which is a game that is like 6 years old or something stupid.
It's got to be more than that.
We're still
10 or 12 years old,
missing
but still.
an Ape Escape remaster.
Yeah. And there's a new, so it got like it started with Sony, and then like other smaller studios it got passed on because they had made like PSP games and stuff. I played Ape Escape Academy on PSP a long time ago. There's a bunch of spin-offs. And the studio that it landed in now has never made an Ape Escape game, but they own the rights to it.
Who is it?
So, it's someone I'd never heard of. It's on the wiki. Let me see.
It's some CIA shell corp. So.
Oh, okay.
That's why it never came out again.
Yeah, the guys who the studio who owns Ape Escape now has 1 employee in Panama. I don't know.
Yeah.
Team Asobi. What have they done? The Playroom, Astrobot's Playroom. They're doing all the...
they do all the tech demo games for PlayStations.
Exactly, for PlayStation VR
okay.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I went on the subreddit, and there's a lot of people complaining, like, why another Astrobot and not another Ratchet and Clank, or another Ape Escape. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what the fuck have we just been talking
Or
about?
the meme of the parent holding up the one baby and it's Ratchet and Clank, and then the other kid drowning and it's Ape Escape. And yeah. Basically, there's also just a picture of George Costanza with the time net. I'm not sure why, but I like it.
Why
not? Yeah, that's been an Ape Escape. Saucy. See, whenever you're on good behavior, you get what you want. So.
You get a treat. You get a peanut.
Yep.
You get a peanut handed nicely to you.
Yep, but you better not put that helmet on.
Yeah. Those are the helmets, Aussie. Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been the bestest fake history show on the internet. Your host today was James. Jamie, you got anything you want to plug and or shill?
Fairlina on the Horde side is what I'm playing in WoW Classic right now. Been pretty into it, so if you want to hang out there, or if you're quitting the game, send me your gold.
Yeah, that only applies to current date and or time. Peter, anything you wanted to talk about?
At Loreboys podcast on Instagram. Somebody DM'd us during the show who looks like a very talented artist. So if you want to get in touch, please do so. Also, my publisher who took us to Comic-Con and gave us all COVID, Squared Idea. Check them out as well. They've got some stuff that's out now, and my shit will be ready, God willing, by the end of the year, which is a thing that I've been saying now for 18 months. But how long's a year, really?
Yeah,
if you got the helmet, how long's a year? Who gives a shit, right?
If you got a time machine, doesn't matter how long a year is.
What were the minions doing while I was illustrating my book? Is my
not helping the great evils of our time.
Yeah. But this popped into my head, like 2 time travel games that are underrated as far as I'm concerned, that are probably cheap as shit, like equally as cheap as Ape Escape 2. Time Shift and Singularity are 2 like time travel FPSs that you guys should check out. They're definitely cheap on Steam or whatever console. Singularity is probably the better one, because you do get a time glove where you can age guys to death, and that's very cool. And then Time Shift is the suit, gives you different powers. But yeah, that's. And
do you age them to death in either direction? Do you get the sperm and the egg outcome, or is it always just old man dust?
It's always a skeleton. It's always
you can't just turn him. You can't turn him into a puddle of cum.
Yeah.
You know what,
Jamie? You always turn me into a puddle of cum. So. If you guys want to support the show, because why wouldn't you want to support this show and keep it going, huh?
Saucy, I think, is one of our longest patrons, if not the longest. By the way,
probably our longest running. But if not, then shout out to whoever it was. Maybe Darkside.
I'm almost sure it's Saucy. I looked it up the other day.
If you guys want to support the show, great way to do it is to leave us a review and or tell your friends. Likewise, we do have a Patreon. As mentioned, you'll never be as long running as Saucy, but you can be up there for sure. Patreon.com/TheLoreBoys. You guys want to throw some dollar bills our way to once again help us turn each other into puddles of cum. And of course, if you don't believe in monetary rewards for such behavior as this show, then we do have Lore Boys Prime, of course, where we'll recruit our listeners for a variety of nefarious tasks. We're basically recruiting our own minion army, I guess you could say, and we're doing our best to rescue those who are stranded in Antarctica right now, because we did not give them the gear needed to survive such a climb. But unfortunately, I mean, we've all been pretty busy lately, so it's hard to get on the internet and book flights. But we have a couple other initiatives going on. So we do have a time machine. There's plenty of exciting things that we want to do. Of course, we want to interrupt the building by the aliens of the Great Pyramids. We want to stop the building of the Great Pyramids of 5G, because that's actually the original source of all 5G. But we're not going to do it by traveling back to ancient Egypt. Instead, we are going to travel back, like I said, to the Paleolithic era and blow on a butterfly. Now, what we need you guys to do, okay, so we're enacting the butterfly effect, chaos theory here, right? Yeah. So we need basically somebody to be there when we blow on the butterfly. Then we're going to tell that person the plan. Then you're going to live your whole life in that period. And then somebody will time travel in right before you die. And we're just going to have a chain of people like that. We're just going to pass on the message broken telephone style. And hopefully by the time the pyramids come around, we got no more 5G.
That'd be so scary, because every time someone teleports in, you're like, oh, fuck, it's my time.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
about to go. Yeah.
Somebody logo comes on. You're just like, dang.
Somebody teleports in, you get hit with a baseball in the nuts so hard it kills you, right? Like almost instantly. With your dying breath, you pass on the message to not let the pharaohs enslave Moses and the Israelites to construct the 5G towers that would enslave.
Well, yeah, the G in 5G is for Giza, obviously, right? That's why they set up the dishes.
And I think so. If you're interested in joining, reach out to our non-existent PO box. With a wood burning of a loot, and that's your what are they? The stonemason's secret handshake to get into the Lore Boys Prime this week. Yep. And I think that would constitute a Lore Boys
out.
6 inches at the bottom of the body. The part that was made out of cloth would like fold over the top, basically. So he's like, yeah, so it saved a lot of space too. And I ended up buying it. And then I left the store. And I was like, why did I buy this off him? Well, like, JB, why did you tell me to go get this thing? Why do I need a keyboard extender?
Oh my god.